Why not? Appleton North, you saw them on that list. They got a scare, Doug, from Appleton East. In week 8 of the regular season, undefeated under Rob Salm, they earned that #1 seed.
They earned the #1 seed. They really earned it because they lost 2 of their best players a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
One on defense, one on offense. So they're not full power, but Appleton North is still really good, and they found that out when Kimberly found that out when they beat them. Kimberly's a really good team, so North's going to make a run, I think.
No one's going to feel bad for Appleton North.
No.
They kept playing, even with those injuries. Another team, hey, nobody's going to feel bad for, even if they didn't get the seed they wanted. Bayport only lost 1 game in the regular season. It was last night. Dropped from a possible 1 seed down to a 3 seed. Do you think they have a right to feel a little disappointed?
Yes and no. It's so hard when you go in these seeding meetings when you're seeding with teams from different areas. But Bayport's really good, and that seed may not mean anything because they might play like a 1 or 2. They're a really good team.
Well, we talked to Gary Westerman this week talking about seeds don't mean anything. He said a good seed, that's big, but ultimately you got to play who you play.
The playoff matchups are always so important, the seeding and what groups of 8 you get. We're relatively healthy right now, and so that bodes well for us. But there's a lot of great teams in this part of the state, and a ton of good Division I teams in the state. So really doesn't matter. You got to beat everybody at some point.
Well, here's our first look at some brackets. Division I Group A, you see Appleton North at the top, Bayport the #3 seed, and you also have Green Bay Preble in there, possibly setting up a Preble-Appleton North Level 2 matchup.
That's a really tough matchup if North gets Preble in Level 2 because Preble's really good.
Yeah.
Talking about a one-loss team, they got a 5 seed. Jake Wallenfang can run wild. That's a really intriguing Level 2 game.
That wouldn't be easy for Appleton North, and also North might end up having to face Bayport, and those two teams have a little bit of playoff history, you could say.
They've matched up 5 of the last 6 years, and North took them out the last 2 years. A lot of real good possibilities in D1. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Chance for revenge, chance to continue the domination. A lot of storylines already. Well, let's keep it going in Division I. You mentioned Kimberly, the Papermakers. Very talented team. They get a 2 seed. They're always potent offense. They get a clash with a bunch of schools maybe they're not as familiar with from southeastern Wisconsin.
Yeah, I didn't know how this D1 would match up. But Kimberly and Appleton East got sent down kind of the Milwaukee schools. Good or bad, I don't know, but Kimberly's a really good team.
Absolutely. They got that great offense to watch. And hey, if they get a chance to play on the turf a little bit, that always gives them an advantage. Let's take a look at the brackets. You mentioned Appleton East. They draw Menominee Falls, Appleton East, a 6 seed, but hey, maybe a potent 6 seed there. Kimberly, they're going to be taking on Milwaukee Morse in Level 1.
Appleton East is, they've been tested this year, so that's not an easy game for Menominee Falls.
Not going to be easy at all. And you talk about Appleton East, they played Appleton North real tough this season, in Week 8 actually. It's got to make the Patriots have some confidence going into the final week, into the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. The VFA North is not easy. Appleton East did a really nice job. And, when you're a 3 seed and you see a 6, you kind of think, we'll beat them. Let's see if Menominee Falls beats Appleton East.
Could be an interesting one, setting up a couple local teams. All right, let's go to Division II now. We'll start off with Green Bay Southwest, Doug. They clinched their first conference title since 1975 last night. See Jake Gorzak there, their good running back, but really, it's the defense when you're talking about Southwest.
Yeah, last night, Bayport really just couldn't run on this team. Bayport had to open up late to try to score. Southwest, great ball control and a really, really good defense. That guy knows how to coach defense, too.
I think so. Bryce Pop, former Packers linebacker, gets the Gatorade shower. He likes where his team is heading into the postseason.
So far, we've stayed fairly healthy. I don't think we've really run anybody into the ground, which is a good thing. The kids' mindset is they still want to get better. What else could you ask for? You're healthy and the kids still want to get better. I mean, that's almost the perfect storm.
These guys are the best running backs I've ever seen, and better linebackers. These are the best linebackers I've ever seen. They're, all in all, we're just a solid team, and I feel we are extremely prepared to go into the playoffs.
We just heard from Matt Knespel there, the linebacker for Southwest. We know the defense is good. Is it on Southwest's offense if they're going to have a chance to make a run to Madison?
Well, what they're going to have to do, they can run the ball, but any team that wins state, you got to be able to do a little bit. Unless you can just run over everybody, which is really hard, they're going to have to throw the ball. Matt McMahon can make plays. So Southwest has that chance, and their defense is so good. That might be all they need, but if you can score 28 to 35 instead of 21, that always makes it better.
Well, speaking of teams that like to run the ball, love to run the ball, an all-FRCC matchup in Level 1. We'll start it off talking about Pulaski. They're going to get to Pierre, but let's talk Red Raiders first. Not exactly the results they wanted first year under a new coach.
No, Jed Kennedy won the D1 state title last year after going to Bradford. He's at Pulaski now. They just get in, but Jed Kennedy knows how to coach in the postseason. He doesn't have the Kenosha players, but Pulaski made a good run later in the year.
Able to run the ball. They got that triple option offense they brought from Kenosha Bradford. They're going to face De Pere in level 1, much improved this season. And what I like, fast tempo on offense with these guys. I went out to practice this past week. Chad Michaelwitz's club, and they get up on the line, they go quick, they don't wait around, and they say it helps.
It throws defenses off. They're coming out of their huddle and we're out there and we're on the line and they got to make adjustments, but we're snapping the ball so fast.
When they prepare for us, I would imagine they have to have more automatic defensive calls and try to anticipate what we're running. We don't give them a lot of time to flop sides or make a lot of checks prior to the ball being snapped.
Lots of defensive linemen huff and puff when they're out there against us.
Well, let's take a look at some of those brackets now. Southwest will face off with, Oshkosh North, familiar name there, Pulaski and De Pere. Await the winner of that gets Southwest. Then we have Ashwaubenon, Doug, scored 21 straight points, I think it was, to beat Notre Dame to earn their way into the playoffs.
Yep, they get Cedarburg, they're playing well, who knows what happens. And then you see Hortonville Homestead. Hortonville fell to a 7 because guess who they had to play last night?
I think that was West De Pere.
if they had West De Pere out of the way, who knows what seed they would have got. That'll be interesting. Maybe Hortonville springs one there.
It would be interesting to see in Ashwaubenon, a team that's got to feel good. Let's go back to De Pere and Pulaski, Doug. Didn't face each other during conference play in the regular season. Who do you like early having the upper hand in this one?
You know, it's hard when they haven't played each other, but I go with De Pere. They talked about their fast-paced tempo offense. I've seen that somewhere else. It's called West De Pere, and they've done it very well. And it does cause problems because they go up, snap the ball, and your defense has to be set. De Pere will be at home. They've just played better 1 through 8 games this year, so I like De Pere.